more after this.
The problem that we're having right now, the problem that we're having in this fight is that as we see this hip throw that Kietsongrit throws on Rick Rufus, is that we have fighters fighting in two different games, and they really haven't had a chance to work the rules out to the point where both fighters are comfortable with some sort of a blended set of rules, and it's causing an awful lot of discussion and an awful lot of unhappiness on the part of both sides, I would say.
And add to that the language barrier. Obviously, Tom Schlesinger, our referee, who I think is maintaining pretty decent control of this fight, considering, but he doesn't speak Thai. The Thai fighters don't speak English. It's very hard for him to communicate with them in there, and they, of course, are probably feeling slighted by these points penalizing. But then again, the rules are the rules.
We're going to see another strong leg kick here. Bang! Right on the inside there of the knee, taking Rick Rufus down. I mean, that's got to be incredibly painful.
Anybody who's ever played a minute of football can tell you how bad that hurts, let alone kickboxing. Rick Rufus. Rick Rufus now trying to keep away from the legs of Kietsongrit, and probably his safest haven is as close to Kietsongrit as he can get. Rufus has the power, and Kietsongrit has never been hit the way Rufus can hit him. And Rufus is hurt now. He tried to spin fist there, and he got kicked, I think, and he is down and hurting. It is not that from a punch, his legs are killing him at the moment. Rick Rufus in the corner, can we hear this?
Well, he's staying in there. They ought to stop him. His corner ought to stop this.
They really should. This is a case of Rick wanting to be too honorable here. This is an exhibition fight.
He was really taking a chance on suffering some permanent injury.
If he's going to stay, John, he just ought to get right up on the guy and let him have it. Otherwise, he's...
Kietsongrit looking very, very strong now, and just obviously extremely aggressively coming in with those leg kicks.
Well, he knows clearly, and the referee, Tom Schlesinger, has stopped this fight, and probably that's a very smart thing to do. Rufus really is not being hurt by punches. What he is being is hurt in the legs, and this is something that it's silly to take any more risks. Rufus, as you can see there by our camera, is in some considerable pain, and they seem to be, well, it's hard to tell where on his legs they're working. It looks like the left one at the moment, the right one at the moment, from this angle.
Well, that's really seems to be a very serious situation. Rick Rufus just had his legs pounded there for almost 5 rounds. Kietsongrit came back and showed tremendous courage in being able to come back from that knockdown in the first round.
And you really wonder at the wisdom of taking this fight on the part of Rick Rufus, game as he might be and as great a competitor as he is. Bill Wallace is in there working on Rufus. Wallace, obviously with some experience in knee injuries and leg injuries.
We're going to see now Rufus spinning around but catching it right in the very back of that right knee. And you can see just great pain as he goes down.
And what we are seeing now is Wallace. Bill Wallace is in there. You can see his hands there checking the stability of that joint, trying to check for ligament damages. Let's go up to Chuck Hall to get the official time on this one. Our ring announcer, Chuck Hall.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time, 1 minute, 23 seconds of the 5th round. The winner by TKO, John Kietsongrit.
Well, you can't take it away from Kietsongrit. He did what his job was to do in that fight, and he won, and did very well doing it. Rick Rufus is still down, and Bill Wallace is still working on the knee, the right knee of Rick Rufus. What he's doing is feeling for any release of fluid from the bursa in there, and also checking for stability of the joint to see any problems, possible problems with ligaments here. As you can see that Rufus is in considerable pain. I don't know that Rufus got hit any time during the fight.
I think it was almost everything to his legs. I don't believe he got hit at all in the head or even in the body that much. But those legs just took a pounding from the very first bell. He showed tremendous courage to stay in there as long as he did. He really should have been out of there after about the 3rd round. But we just have to hope that his knee is not seriously damaged and he doesn't have to have any long recovery periods.
Well, we'll be back here in just a moment, John and I. Don't go away. Well, you're looking right now at a very wild scene here in the Grand Ballroom of the Sands Hotel here in Las Vegas. Rick Rufus has just had this fight stopped against Mr. Kietsongrit from Thailand. Rufus is down with some leg injuries here. They've put a little bit of a gauze tape on his leg. John Worley is up in the corner with up in the ring with Rick's brother, Jeff Rufus. And John, why don't you go with it?
Jeff, how serious does it appear his knee is hurt?
Well, it's possibly strained. That's what former world champion Bill Wallace believes. I'm not sure. I just know that he's in pain, and the leg kicks were the only thing that stopped him. The guy did not touch him anywhere else in the body, you know. I think, you know, that Rick should have won the fight. He had the guy out. There are 3 major fouls, but it's the way the cookie crumbles tonight.
Let's take a look at the monitor down here, Jeff, and see if you can talk about these leg kicks.
Right there, you know, he's just buckling his knees. It's the same type of injury that ends a football player's career. You know, I don't think it takes much talent to kick somebody in the legs. As you saw those jumping, spinning kicks that Rick was throwing and all the defensive ability, I think that's real talent, you know. I think that he is better than this fighter, but the rules just didn't allow him to win tonight.
Once again, as we see these leg kicks, it seemed like that was pretty much the entire game plan for the fighter from Thailand, is just to come in and drive those kicks in there. Rick Rufus coming up over the top with a round kick that doesn't quite connect. What were you telling him between rounds?
To step inside the legs, but the guy was trying to tie him up, but we really weren't too successful. I mean, he had him knocked out, but the guy was tough. We've heard that about Thailand fighters. Benny the Jet, another American, he's fought over there, Don Wilson. They've all took their lumps over there. The Thais are real tough fighters.
As we see now, Rick Rufus being moved away. He's got that knee immobilized, and they're taking him out of here on a stretcher. He's obviously still in a lot of pain. I know, Jeff, you'd like to go ahead and get over there with him, so we want to thank you for stopping by with us. We certainly hope that Rick has suffered no serious damage or no permanent damage, and that he'll be back in the ring in a very short time.
Well, I hope that, you know, people realize that Thais, if they fight our rules, we're not going to win, and we're not going to fight their rules. We can't. We experimented tonight, but we found out it's not worth it. It doesn't take too much talent to kick to the legs, so that's how I'll end up tonight.
Once again, we thank you for stopping by, and Dan, we hope that Rick Rufus will be back in the ring very, very soon.
Certainly do, and again, thanks to Jeff for talking to us, because I know he probably wasn't in the happiest frame of mind. Don't go away, folks. John and I will be right back on Score.
Moved like we thought he would. He landed a good straight left hand there on Kietsongrit. That was the second knockdown, and really at this point, I think everybody pretty well thought this fight was about to be over, because Kietsongrit looked like he was out on his feet. He almost went down the third time. He managed to hang on, to the end of that round, and then after that, he came back and began to work on those legs, and it seemed like he was completely back together. His corner, bought a little time. They spilled a lot of ice and threw a lot of water, made a big mess, and figured, okay, if we lose a point because of doing that, it's worth it. We need the time, and the time is really what he did need, and he came back and did a good job after that.
And the other thing we saw there, John, and we'll see a little bit difference here in just a minute, Rufus was inside. Rufus was fighting close, making it a hand fight in that first round. As we'll see later on here with some kicks, you see that Rufus is trying to stay away, and that's when he gets connected with on the kicks the most. That's the one thing that he didn't need to do, and it was the one thing he wanted to do because his legs were getting hurt.
Well, I'm sure his mind was telling him to move inside, to get inside, and his body was saying, because look at this. Those are the kind of things that you can see. The force of that kick is just twisting his upper body and causing him to lose balance, and it's just a tremendous amount of punishment assigned to those leg kicks, and Rick Rufus was not able to force himself to get back inside. And that's really that's a shame for him. I'm sure he'll be back. He's a great athlete. He's a very young man, so this is not going to be something that stops him, I'm sure.
Once again, an injury to Rick Rufus's right knee, and we hope, of course, that he will be okay. Again, a very exciting night here. It was an experiment. We had some fun with it. The crowd got a little unruly, but that's what you expect. Folks, we'll be back again next week. Hope you'll join us. I'm Dan Walker, my partner, John Worley. Good night, everybody.